Informed consent is a foundational concept in drug development, ensuring that participants are fully aware of the risks, benefits, and procedures involved in clinical trials. This process is not just a formality but a critical ethical requirement that protects the rights and well-being of every individual who volunteers for research. As we explore the journey of a new drug from the laboratory to the market, understanding informed consent helps us appreciate the safeguards in place for human subjects. Let's begin by examining why informed consent is so essential in the context of drug development. Importance of informed consent in drug development has deep historical roots. In the past, unethical research practices, such as experiments conducted without participants' knowledge or agreement, led to significant harm. These events prompted the creation of strict guidelines and regulations to protect human subjects. Today, informed consent is a legal and ethical standard, ensuring transparency and respect for participants' autonomy. By learning from history, the drug development process now prioritizes the safety and dignity of every individual involved. Informed consent is more than just signing a form. It is a process that involves clear communication between researchers and participants. Before joining a clinical trial, individuals receive detailed information about the study's purpose, procedures, potential risks, and benefits. They are encouraged to ask questions and are given time to consider their decision. Only after understanding all aspects do they voluntarily agree to participate. This process ensures that participation is based on knowledge and free will. The informed consent process includes several key elements. Participants must be informed about the study's purpose, the procedures involved, the duration, and any potential risks or discomforts. They also learn about possible benefits, alternative treatments, and their right to withdraw at any time without penalty. These elements are designed to empower participants, ensuring they have all the information needed to make an informed choice about their involvement in drug development. Central part of informed consent is the consent form. This document outlines all the essential information about the clinical trial in clear, understandable language. It serves as a reference for participants, allowing them to review details at any time. However, the form itself is only one part of the process. Researchers must also ensure that participants truly understand what they are agreeing to, often through discussions and answering questions. Effective communication is at the heart of informed consent. Researchers must present information in a way that is easy to understand, avoiding technical jargon. They should encourage questions and provide honest, thorough answers. This open dialogue helps build trust and ensures that participants feel comfortable and confident in their decision to join the study. Good communication also helps prevent misunderstandings and supports ethical research practices. Core principle of informed consent is that participation in drug development studies must be completely voluntary. No one should feel pressured or coerced into joining a clinical trial. Participants have the right to decline or withdraw from the study at any time, for any reason without facing negative consequences. This respect for autonomy is a cornerstone of ethical research and ensures that individuals' choices are honored throughout the process. Ensuring that participants truly understand the information provided is crucial. Researchers may use quizzes, discussions, or teachback methods to confirm comprehension. This step goes beyond simply handing out a form. It's about making sure that every participant knows what to expect and what their rights are. By assessing understanding, researchers uphold the integrity of the informed consent process and protect participants from unintended harm. Some groups, such as children, elderly individuals, or those with cognitive impairments, require extra protections during the informed consent process. For these populations, consent may involve legal guardians or additional safeguards to ensure their rights and well-being are prioritized. Researchers must adapt their approach to meet the unique needs of each participant, maintaining ethical standards and compliance with regulation. Regulatory agencies, such as the FDA or EMA, play a vital role in overseeing the informed consent process in drug development. These organizations set strict guidelines and regularly review clinical trial protocols to ensure that ethical standards are met. Their oversight helps maintain public trust in the research process and ensures that participants' rights are always protected. Informed consent is recognized as a global standard in drug development. International guidelines, such as the Declaration of Helsinki in Good Clinical Practice (GCP), outline the ethical requirements for research involving human subjects. These standards help harmonize practices across countries, ensuring that participants everywhere receive the same level of protection and respect. Ethics committees, also known as institutional review boards (IRBs), are responsible for reviewing and approving the informed consent process in clinical trials. They evaluate whether the information provided is clear, complete, and fair. By overseeing the consent process, these committees help ensure that research is conducted ethically and that participants' rights are safeguarded at every stage. Key part of informed consent is discussing the potential risks and benefits of participating in a clinical trial. Researchers must be transparent about possible side effects, discomforts, or uncertainties, as well as any potential health improvements or contributions to science. This balanced approach allows participants to weigh their options and make decisions that align with their values and priorities. Protecting participants' privacy is a fundamental aspect of informed consent. Researchers must explain how personal information will be collected, stored, and used, ensuring that confidentiality is maintained throughout the study. Participants should feel confident that their data is secure and that their identities will not be disclosed without permission. Informed consent is not a one-time event. Throughout a clinical trial, researchers must keep participants updated about any new information that could affect their decision to continue. This ongoing process, sometimes called continuous consent, ensures that participants remain informed and empowered to make choices about their involvement at every stage. Researchers must provide consent materials in language that is clear and accessible to all participants. This includes translating documents into participants' native languages and using plain language to accommodate different literacy levels. By removing language barriers, the informed consent process becomes more inclusive and effective. Cultural beliefs and values can influence how individuals perceive medical research and informed consent. Researchers must be sensitive to cultural differences, adapting their approach to respect participants' backgrounds and traditions. This may involve consulting with community leaders or using culturally appropriate materials to ensure understanding and trust. With advances in technology, digital tools are increasingly used to obtain informed consent. Electronic consent forms, videos, and interactive platforms can make the process more engaging and accessible. However, researchers must ensure that digital consent still meets ethical and legal standards, providing the same level of understanding and protection as traditional methods. Despite best efforts, challenges can arise in the informed consent process. Participants may have limited health literacy, language barriers, or concerns about privacy. Researchers must be proactive in identifying and addressing these challenges, using creative solutions to ensure that every participant is truly informed and comfortable with their decision. Let's consider a real-world example. In a clinical trial for a new medication, participants are first given a detailed explanation of the study. They review the consent form, ask questions, and discuss any concerns with the research team. Only after confirming their understanding do they sign the form and begin participation. This case highlights the practical steps involved in obtaining informed consent and the importance of clear communication. Family members often play a supportive role in the informed consent process, especially for vulnerable participants. They may help review information, ask questions, or provide emotional support. In some cases, family members act as legal representatives, making decisions on behalf of those unable to consent for themselves. Their involvement helps ensure that participants' best interests are always considered. Participants have the right to withdraw from a clinical trial at any time for any reason. Researchers must make this clear during the informed consent process and respect participants' decisions without question. This right protects individuals' autonomy and ensures that their participation remains voluntary throughout the study. If unexpected side effects or adverse events occur during a clinical trial, researchers must promptly inform participants. This new information may affect their willingness to continue, and participants must be given the opportunity to reconsider their involvement. Transparency about risks is a key part of maintaining trust and upholding ethical standards. Accurate documentation is essential in the informed consent process. Researchers must keep detailed records of consent forms, discussions, and any updates provided to participants. These records help demonstrate compliance with ethical and legal requirements and provide a reference in case of questions or audits. Researchers involved in drug development must receive thorough training in the informed consent process. This includes understanding ethical principles, communication skills, and regulatory requirements. Well-trained staff are better equipped to support participants, answer questions, and ensure that consent is truly informed. Informed consent process is continually evolving as new challenges and technologies emerge. Researchers and regulatory bodies regularly review and update guidelines to enhance participant protection and improve communication. By embracing continuous improvement, the drug development field remains responsive to the needs of participants and advances in science. Gathering feedback from participants about their informed consent experience is valuable for improving the process. Researchers can use surveys or interviews to learn what worked well and what could be better. This input helps create more effective and participant-centered consent procedures in future studies. Ethical dilemmas can arise in the informed consent process, such as balancing the need for scientific progress with respect for individual autonomy. Researchers must navigate these challenges carefully, always prioritizing the rights and well-being of participants. Open discussion and ethical guidance help resolve difficult situations and maintain trust in the research process. Looking ahead, the informed consent process will continue to adapt to new technologies and research methods. Innovations such as virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and personalized medicine may change how consent is obtained and understood. By staying committed to ethical principles, the drug development community can ensure that informed consent remains a robust safeguard for participants. Informed consent is a vital part of drug development, protecting participants and upholding ethical standards. From clear communication and voluntary participation to ongoing updates and regulatory oversight, every aspect of the process is designed to respect individuals' rights. As drug development continues to advance, informed consent will remain a cornerstone of ethical research, ensuring that science moves forward with integrity and respect for all.